Hey guys, we did it. We made it to the end of Queens of R&B, SWV, and Escape. Let me start off by saying this. Ooh, stuff I like. Let me start off by saying this. This show has pleasantly surprised me in more ways than one. And I feel like Mona Scott, Bravo, you all did your thing with this. I need there to be another season. I know that some of the ladies are saying they wouldn't do another season, but if you guys give them the right amount of money, you can do another season. I feel like this is the first time in a long time that we've seen real reality television where it did not feel like it was overly scripted. In case I forget to say this, because I sometimes write down things and skim past them, I want it to be said right now that Tamika needs therapy. She needs therapy to do the 40 plus years of damage that her family has done to her. And I hope to remember to go into further detail about that later on. But in case I forget to say it, I'm saying it now. She needs therapy. We start off where we left off at, with Tasha acting like she did not know what the ladies were talking about when Tamika presented her with the paperwork showing that her husband has been getting kickbacks. Tasha's response, without really reading the paperwork, because she kept saying, what's this, is she said that ain't nobody been getting a kickback. Now, remember that she says ain't nobody been getting a kickback, because later on in the confessionals, she says something completely different. They recap that Rocky originally got $10,000 from the promoter when he wanted $20K. They show messages as well as what Candy and Tiny say was wire transfers, but they cut that portion out of what we see. Tiny makes it be known that any money going out to anyone should be laid on the table. In other words, whatever money comes in, we all should be aware of the money that comes in and where it's going. And I agree. And it seems like that has been the agreement amongst the ladies when it was the 4 of them singing the Escape, when it was the 3 of them singing in Escape. But for some reason, Tasha and Rocky will later on act like that's not the case. Tasha calls Rocky to let him know about the situation with the girls, puts him on speakerphone, lets him know he's on speakerphone. He says that he isn't trying to hear what's being said. Rocky tells them that he can show the conversations that he had with the promoter. And there isn't ish to do with Escape ever when he has conversations with the promoter. If you're telling me that you can show me that in your phone, I would say come bring me your phone. Because what we've learned over the past several weeks, both on the show and off the show by various interviews and recorded conversations, Rocky is all talk. Tasha then says that Tamika, he's not stealing from you. And you keep saying that he is. And Tamika talks about how much her sister has changed since being with Rocky, and it's sad. Now we go into the confessionals where production is basically asking both Rocky and Tasha about what's going on. In the confessional, Rocky says, kickbacks are for people who have to hustle, and he doesn't have to hustle. He says he does deals. Where my confusion is, if you aren't Escape's manager, how are you managing to do a deal that concerns them? Especially if they have their own protocol. A protocol which Candy and Tiny have said both on the show as well as on Speak On It, that it should have been presented to the whole group. Rocky has managed to find a way around everything, and he has been able to run all over these women for too long. Then Tasha chimes in and says that there have been a lot of times where sometimes some of them will bring more deals to the table than others, and as a result, they get a different cut. But I go back to saying, how is that possible when Tiny herself has already said in a Speak On It that that's not the case, that it gets brought to the table for the whole group, and that normally management or whomever knows that they're supposed to cut it evenly across the board. No one is supposed to get a higher percentage than the other people. So she is lying. Candy, when she did her Speak On It, even gave an example of how in the past, not only her, but also Don Juan, which is Candy's manager for some of her companies, has brought them to business opportunities for XSCAPE, and how Don Juan didn't get any type of cut, any type of kickback, anything. All he did was give the information to whoever their representative was at the time, and they went from there. So why is it that different rules apply to Tasha and Rocky? I also find it funny how he says he didn't get a kickback. He says he don't ever mention XSCAPE. He don't have nothing to do with that. But in the text messages, it shows otherwise. And why would you be getting any form of money involving them? Tasha doesn't ask the right questions, which makes me feel like either Tasha knows or just doesn't want to know. We see Tasha walk away saying that it's not cool that they did this and they're just about making a show and making some money. I don't understand why Tasha didn't say all of the things that she said in the confessional, as well as while she was walking out in front of the group. I don't know if it was cut out, but to me, that in itself is shady, because if you really feel this way, and if sometimes the group members who bring somebody to the table get more money, why didn't you say that when it was brought to the table? I doubt that they would show us that in confessionals and not show you saying that in front of the ladies. We then see all the ladies getting ready for their performance. We see them getting ready for the trip. Tasha is in a car with Rocky, and she's thanking him for coming because she doesn't do with the drama and it helps her energy. And there's all these issues, and she doesn't know why Tamika is lashing out. Tamika's lashing out because she finally has some sense. Tamika, I think she finally got fed up. I kind of want to know what was the end all be all for her. What made her decide to go even further in her digging, other than the thing with the theft from the royalties, because something happened that was really a final click. She then brings up the lie that Tamika told about Candy, saying that much like that lie that she told about Candy, she's lying again. And this is why you shouldn't lie, because once you're known to be a liar, then people will continue to call you one. However, we've seen the receipts. So the fact that Tasha keeps trying to stick to this narrative and making it seem as if she's lying is ridiculous to me. We see the members of XSCAPE, other than Tasha, riding together, and we see SWV riding together, heading to the place where the venue where they're going to have the show. SWV talks with their manager about how the show is 2 days away and they still don't have it together. They say they're nervous about the transitions, and I would be too. I don't like last minute stuff. I don't like last minute performances, and when it's out of your control, I can see why that would make people antsy. We see Tasha at a rental house with the personal chef, with the pool and all of that. And all I have to say is that kickback that Rocky's been getting for the many deals that he makes with all of these artists that I don't see him manage has been really good to you guys. Rocky and Tasha talk about accusations and betrayal, and I wrote down that they are full of crap. He stutters in his confessional about how you can't put other people's checks in your bank account, and you can. All you have to do is sign and endorse it and put that you can put it in their account, which is what they did. They forged a signature, and it can be done. Rocky talks about how he would think that you would need somebody to sign, that person to sign it, and you would need their social security number. And what Rocky doesn't realize that he did is, in that little tidbit of confessional, he kind of told on himself, because you know all of these things. All of the ladies have made it clear that they have each other's information down to their passports, their social security numbers, etc. To the point where Candy said she put some type of block on hers so that if it's used or something, I guess she gets some type of alert, for the very reason that she knows that her other group members have access to it, and she's seen some of the things that you have done. Rocky, while he stutters, talks in circles. Rocky, in the conversation with his wife, really allows us to see how he's helped Tasha to feel like she's untouchable along with him. Because we do know Rocky is associated with R. Kelly. So the fact that Rocky didn't get pulled in anything, name won't mention none of that stuff, and all the mess going on with R. Kelly, he's a master manipulator, and he's done a very good job of hiding out. At this point, XSCAPE needs to cut Rocky and Tasha off permanently. Candy, in a different episode of Speak On It, and I hate to keep referring to Speak On It, but I'm going to refer to it because she breaks down some more things that we don't get to see on the show. She said, when asked by DJ Ricky Sky, shout out to him, if they would pursue charges, Candy said that the group won't be pursuing any charges against Rocky, but they basically don't want to work with him. A lot of this situation, and I hate to say it like this, but I'm going to call it how I see it, is the group's fault. They said in the beginning of the show that they've heard for years that Rocky was taking kickbacks. They've heard it from different promoters, but this is just the first time that they've had actual proof. And because now they had actual proof, they brought it to the table. Me personally, there's no way that that man would be anywhere near my business if that had been something that was going on in the background. So because XSCAPE does such a great job of not dealing with their problems, that's part of the reason why they continue to have problems. We then see the ladies of SWV practicing, and as we see them practicing on the stage with the choreographer, I felt like, man, there's so much that we didn't get to see and that they need other episodes. I don't know why the network decided to only make this 6 episodes when it seems like there was so much more that we could have been shown. XSCAPE arrives and they're on the stage as Tasha arrives late with her entourage. As Tasha is arriving with her entourage, we see Lily smiling, and they go to a confessional shot where Lily is saying Diana Ross has entered the building. I did notice that while Tasha was walking into rehearsal where she was going to be practicing, that someone was combing her hair behind her as she was walking. And I don't understand why you need to do that for rehearsal. I also don't understand why she had to get her whole face beat for rehearsal. We hear how SWV is bothered by the fact that they keep practicing the same song over and over again, because SWV, although they wanted to go through a rundown of the show and see the transitions and everything, they didn't feel like hearing the ladies actually sing the whole song. They just wanted to see the transitions. And while they're practicing, Candy asks if there's a moment that they're going to ever, as a group, come on stage and talk together. And Taj says, well, I guess there can be one, but we haven't even got past the first 2 songs yet. And I just couldn't help but thinking this is so sad. Because at one point, these ladies, before working together for this show, seem to have a good dynamic. And we've seen how now it seems like there's animosity, there's slight beef towards the 2 groups. And some of it is because of the groups, and some of it is because of us fans, because we've chimed in so much that I guess it's caused even more discussion. And at the end of the day, both of these groups are 2 great groups. This show, I feel like there's a lot of pieces that we were missing, but we get the overall gist. When asked if they want to do Is My Living in Vain with XSCAPE, Coco says no. Coco was real shady. Coco says no. The group says yes. They go up there and stand up there and say that it'll stand on the stage, and the choreographer says that that won't look as good as if they're all down there, that they need to come down. It's a mess. Coco says she ain't singing that ish, that they don't do church in their set, and she's out of medicine and she wants to fight somebody. Taj makes a suggestion, and Don Juan says that her suggestion is corny because Taj didn't, because they didn't really want to sing the song. She said maybe that they can, after they can stand up there, they can talk or whatever, women's empowerment, blah, blah, blah. And Don Juan says that it's corny. Him and Taj go back and forth a teeny bit, and she tells him to shut the F up. Coco lets it be known that y'all think it is just me, and it's not just me. It seems chaotic. I feel like for Taj to get to the point where she is cursing and stuff, that it has to be bad. And I will say that I think anxiety got the best of her, because we see her laying the night before in the bed with Tums because her stomach is upset and she can't get it together. They finished the rehearsal. It's the next day. Candy lets Tamika know that this will probably be the last time that they perform together as For in a Minute. Tamika brings up again that she wants to talk to her sister, but we saw in a flashback where she was having that conversation with the 2 of them, and Tiny suggested that she wait till after they're done with the performance. And in this instance, Candy also suggests that she waits till after the show. I think it's so sad that Tamika is always worried about her sister's feelings, when it doesn't really seem like Tasha is worried about anyone's but her own. Tasha comes. We see Candy and Tamika in the dressing room getting ready. Tasha shows up with an even bigger entourage than she had before. She lets us know that that's her team. She has her hairstylist, her wardrobe person, her regular stylist, her makeup artist. She has all these different things. And I just want to know how you're paying for all these people. With Tamika's money? Because there are ladies that have far more coin than you on this show, and they're not doing all the things that you're doing, which I understand why they say you are the way you are and that you're complicated and you do extra, because this is a prime example. While talking to her husband, he asks Tasha, what is she doing tonight? Who's she gonna be tonight? And they say something about Tina Turner, and he said they all gonna be mad. Only reason why they would be mad is because she continues to be extra. We then see Tiny show up with a much smaller team. And before anybody says anything about Candy's team, we are well aware that Candy travels with her team for the most part. Like we see Don Juan there. I believe sometimes Jamie is there. And I don't know who else comes along. But Candy has had the same team for the most part for as long as we've seen her on TV. Maybe not Jamie, but definitely Don Juan. Don Juan has been there from day one. So we're not going to bring up the fact that Candy has an entourage, because even Candy's entourage is not that big. We then see SWV in their dressing room, and the three of them are all together. The managers are in there and everything. And I don't like the outfits, y'all. It wasn't cohesive to me, especially SWV's. Taj really stood out. Coco's looked cute, but it just wasn't given to me. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Despite the last minuteness of the show, the ladies do a good job. As they're singing, we see in Confessional where Taj says that having a huge fan base for 30 plus years is a blessing, and I agree. We do see the girls come on stage and actually sing a little bit Is My Living in Vain together with SWV. SWV closes a week and kills it. Coco lets it be known, did you see the crowd? Y'all should have let us go last. Understanding closes the show, and the crowd went up for both groups closing out. While they're singing, they go to Tasha, who in her confessional says that she's not getting any of what she normally gets from her sister while on the stage. Normally her sister will big her up, go smack her on the butt, and things of that nature. And in this instance, we see her doing it to Candy. And here's my thing. Tasha can say all the things that she wants to say about who she is as a person, but the fact that you expect for your sister to continue to be okay with you using and emotionally abusing her and manipulating the situation, and for her to want to come over and pop you on your tail and joke around and give you big ups while you're on the stage is ridiculous to me. But you're so accustomed to getting your way when it comes to your sister that you thought that was going to happen again. Coco and the other ladies, let me just say Coco. The other ladies, they all get together after the show is done and asks if they would do this again. And Candy doesn't hesitate to say she would, and Coco is surprised. And she seems hesitant while her other group members seem like they would do it. And we already know that they haven't resumed it. Like, this was it. We then see Tamika go into a room with her sisters, telling her that she needs to talk. And while she's doing this, she has to bypass all these grown behind men that are standing in the way. And Tasha tells her that this is not the time, and it's never the time. Once again, we see Tamika fighting for her sister. Tasha talks about how she doesn't like the finger pointing. She doesn't like the negativity, that she's not feeling it. Tamika talks about the energy and how her entourage and her people don't even speak to her. They walk right past her. And Tasha says she wants her sister to be sincere, and just says that she feels like she's spending too much time with Rocky. I hate that you give so much attention to someone else. And this is the problem. I don't like to use the term gaslighting. So what I'm going to say is you're playing in your sister's face. Because if you think that her telling you that your husband stole her money, that you had a part to do with it, that your husband has changed you, that you're not the same person, and all of these things correlates to her basically being jealous of the relationship that you have with Rocky, then you are more delusional than I thought. You have hurt your sister, And yet, because you're so accustomed to being a victim, you have made this once again about you and your feelings. To sit in that confessional and act as if you don't understand why your sister is lashing out at you, when for 40 plus years, because I think she's like 42 or 43. So, no, wait, she might be older than that. I don't know how old she is. She can't be that young. Is she in her later? She's 40 something years old. So to sit there for 40 plus years and you have managed to have this woman feel like she has to appease you and your mother in order for her to be included speaks to the foolishness that you have had going on in your family for years. Y'all keep saying how your family, you just want your family back and yada, yada, yo. For family like y'all, I wouldn't want it. As usual, we see Tasha get upset and she walks out. Tamika tells her, tell mom you soon gonna need a room in her house because you're gonna be broke after he's done with you. And I don't agree with her saying it, but I agree with her saying it. Because at the end of the day, you continue to align yourself with this man who is burning bridges left and right, who is taking your money, who is using your money, who is doing all these things, who has now aided in your ruined relationship with your sister, and you continue to pick his side. Tamika's hurt. As she walks out and everybody's overhearing this conversation, Candy embraces Tamika and Tamika starts crying, and Candy tries to, get her to get it together. And Tasha says for things to be salvaged that she needs to have a sit down and a heart to heart with her sister. And this is never going to happen because Tasha's a liar. Ain't no allegedly in that. Tasha is a liar. That's the end of my notes. We see some more about SWV getting triple platinum and all these other things. And I don't want to take the light off of SWV, but I got to say some things. Candy is a better person than I am, because the fact that she is willing to and was willing to embrace Tamika in these moments where she feels left alone, after Tamika got on national syndicated radio and basically said that she was sleeping around with a bunch of people, and she's forgiven her and she continues to work with her. Candy has shown a level of grace that I'm just not built to do. I feel like Tamika is getting one of the hardest versions of karma that you could get, because the same way that she stood up for her sister in the past is now her downfall. You've been there for your sister in so many instances where she was not there for you, and you have nothing to show for it but hurt. I hope that you're getting counseling, and it's going to be a lengthy process because so much damage has been done to you for so long, and it's so unfortunate. To the ladies of XSCAPE, keep it at 3. Keep it at 3. Because at some point, Tasha is going to want to come back, and you all have to teach her a lesson, because you've made it too easy for her to get away with what she's gotten away with for as long as she has. Tiny, you say you're a Cancer. I need you to speak up more, because when you do speak up, you're heard. And part of the reason why what you're saying is received and heard is because there's so many times where you take the approach where you're not going to get in the middle of it, so that when you do say the truth, it allows Candy to get a break. because Candy has been blamed for a lot of things that we're now seeing was not her fault. To the ladies of SWV, y'all need to do another show. And I'm going to say this. SWV has always been my fave. And this show, I don't feel like this show hurt them. I feel like this show gave them a different type of exposure, because now people who may not have known them now will know them and be more familiar with them. But we gotta see more of you guys. And I see that they announced that they're going on tour with Jodeci and somebody else, and I'm happy for them. But I want to see this happen again. And I want things to be more laid out, and I want Tasha to not be there, because I feel like if Tasha isn't there, we would get to see a lot more behind the scenes with the other ladies, including the ladies of SWV. You guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate each and every like, each and every comment, each and every DM that I get about another show that I should review. It's so interesting to me because I get like a small number of views, and I'm thankful for those views. And I'm trying to, I guess, dive into this a little bit more. Maybe over time I'll get more comfortable with the camera and with the various editing softwares and all that. That's something I gotta talk to my son about. But I appreciate you taking your time to listen to me, even when I'm rambling, much like I am now. Until next time, thanks for talking to Tisha, and I'll see you later.